I don't know that the legacy of Donald Trump will ever be good government. I don't know that I care. I mean, I really mean that. That's a fairly shallow thing for me to say. I didn't vote for Donald Trump to make good government. I didn't vote for Donald Trump because I thought he'd more efficiently run our federal government. I voted for Donald Trump because I thought he was a street fighter. And he's not let me down in that regard. And I've said this many times on this show. Donald Trump loves a fight. Donald Trump wakes up some days, in my humble opinion, looking too hard to find a fight. But I think that's the only way you break the stranglehold that this group of people have on our federal government. And I can remember 3 or 4 years ago talking about the deep state and the ruling class and the economic elites and all these people of the bureaucratic hierarchy in our nation's capital. And I know a lot of you rolled your eyes. And a lot of you dismiss that as, that's talk radio. You know how those conservative talk radio guys are. They're always stirring the pot. They're trying to be provocateurs. They're trying to get a certain level of engagement about things to make people paranoid. Well, who's paranoid now? I mean, who's being truthful now? Who's being honest now? You've got DOJ scrambling. You've got the FBI scrambling. We already know beyond a shadow of a doubt the IRS will target groups of people who are inconsiderate of their political beliefs. And if you go back and you look through a lot of the accounts, and I've got a laundry list here. I mean, you've got the meeting on the tarmac, Loretta Lynch and Hillary or Bill Clinton meeting talking about Hillary. We've got these text messages between Peter Schrock and Lisa Page. We've got Andy McCabe, who resigned yesterday unexpectedly. Why did Andy McCabe resign? I've got a hunch. You were talking about the memo. I've got a hunch there's something in this IG report that will basically incriminate Andy McCabe into being a part of this deep state, this cabal of which never saw Trump coming and are trying to do everything to rid themselves of it. But it all goes back to Obama. Think about it, Rev. It all goes back to the former president. I've got a note here to myself. We sometimes forget that Obama, not Hillary Clinton, was president when the FBI conducted the investigation of this email scandal. Remember, it all started back with her personal server in her basement and her communicating with what the original documentation said was the president of the United States. Later changed. Comey's FBI changed the language from president of the United States to a high-ranking government official. That's not innuendo. That's not speculation. We know that to be solid fact. That is in an investigative report. We know that Peter Strzok was a large part of changing the language from gross negligence to extreme carelessness. Comey went along with that. We know that to be the case. We know that Jim Comey allowed for Loretta Lynch to insist that some of the language be changed from the president of the United States. You got to disconnect the president. You can't have the president connected to this investigation. But if we chase this rabbit all the way down the hole, it ends up in Chicago politic land. It's all about the Chicago political mafia and the way they do business. And the big miscalculation they made, the grand mistake of all the brilliant people, the David Axelrods of the world, the Barack Obamas of the world, all these great liberal minds, the great mistake they made was in misjudging the American voter. They never believed that Walmart and Target was big enough to house enough people to vote this guy as president. Go back to the text messaging between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page that says you can smell the Trump voter.
Mm-hmm.
And my point on the memo, once again, I don't think the memo is the perfect way to get the message out. It needs to be footnoted. It needs to basically say this statement is backed up with this factual account. There's some classified issues to deal with and declassifying some of that. But I think the most important thing to do is release the memo and let the American public decide. If you believe, as a member of the American public and a voter in general, if you believe that a guy can lead an investigation into Hillary Clinton and into Donald Trump and say things like, you can smell the Trump voters at Walmart. If you believe that he can separate that personal opinion, that personal disposition from being able to do his job, which is what Democrats are telling you to believe. I mean, Democrats are basically saying, hey, I know we got all the smoke, but these are just people in their private lives. These are just the opinions they hold in their private life. When they put that badge on, when they tie that tie around their neck every morning, they're professionals. And none of their personal opinion or personal dispositions enter into the equation. You got to be crazy to believe that. And I believe that a certain portion of the American public are smart enough to say, no, that guy had no business. And we can give Mueller credit for taking Schrock off the case and Page off the case. But he put them on the case. He knew they were Trump antagonists. He knew they had run interference for Hillary Clinton. He knew they had worked hand in hand with Jim Comey and the former president in changing the language that said President of the United States. And they changed it to a high-ranking senior government official. Extreme careless or gross negligence turns into extreme careless. The president knew all that. Strzok knew all that. Mueller knew all that. Comey knew all that. And they let it go. And all of a sudden, we're to believe that these text messages, Andy McCabe's wife meeting with Terry McAuliffe while Terry McAuliffe is being investigated by the FBI? I mean, are we that stupid? Are we so stupid to believe that a high-ranking FBI official, his wife is running for the Senate in Virginia, he's in charge of investigating Hillary Clinton, and his wife gets $450,000 from a Terry McAuliffe Clinton fundraising apparatus? I mean, are we that stupid? Are we so stupid that we'll let CNN and NBC and ABC and CBS and Washington Post, New York Times tell us, well, that's their personal lives? When they go to work, they're different people, man. They're able to compartmentalize. They're able to say, no, that's my personal held beliefs. But in no way, shape, or form does that enter my professional judgment. I'm here to do right by the American people. You can't believe that. You can't be that stupid. Once again, release the memo. Let the American public decide. The interesting part of this, there is no question that the Republicans asked the FBI and two of its top FISA advisors to look at the memo. Are there any inaccuracies? Are there any questionable comments? Are there any things in there that you believe have been portrayed in an inaccurate or not honest fashion? The FBI director and two FISA lawyers, his top two FISA advisors, said, I'm not getting into the politics of it. You guys can paraphrase as you choose. I'm not a politician, but I can say that what's in the memo is accurate. And let the American public decide. Let the American public choose whether they believe these people can be Clinton supporters and Trump antagonists and go to work every day and check that at the door. Not one, not two, not three, not four, but about 7 or 8 of these prominent members of DOJ and the FBI are on the record. They don't like that they're on the record, but they're on the record in some way, shape, or form. I hate Donald Trump, and I wish Hillary Clinton was president. And those are the people we're going to trust to investigate Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. We got to be smarter than that. If we're not, Washington's the least of our problems. Back in a minute. Good morning, PD Live 95.